Oh my God! Get the hell out of here! You can talk about Rodgers. Hell out of here!
Okay, well, what is the need to bring up the Yankees?
It's just stuff to bring up because
Are you kidding me? Come on, dude! This came out of nowhere!
Not. Clemson is a top team. Don't start with that. Clemson's a top team, no doubt, 100%.
Unless it's on Saturday, then they might move down.
Welcome back to Go Chat. We are here with an exciting episode number 53. As always, it's going to start with the Go to the Number segment and end with our GOAT picks. But the segment in the between is going to be about an update on Drew Brees and the outlook on the Saints. But as I just said, we're going to start with a GOAT of the number 53. Personally, I had some trouble finding one. I don't know about my counterparts here. We're going to find out in just a second. I'm going to swing it to Mike, number 53.
Number 53 was a tough one. I was deciding between two different players, but I have to go with Artis Gilmore here. He was a part of the ABA and the NBA. He's an 11-time All-Star, 5-time All-ABA player. He won the ABA championship in 1974-75 season. He's a 71 to 72 MVP. This guy was just an overall solid player. He's not like, that generational type talent, but he's still a part of the Hall of Fame and made major impacts upon the ABA and the NBA. So I got to go with Artis Gilmore here.
Anybody who watches this show knows that Tommy's going to go with a baseball player, so I'll swing it to him next.
Yeah, of course. We're going to go with Don Drysdale of the Brooklyn Dodgers, I believe. No, he was with Brooklyn and then LA. Yes, that's right, Matt. He was with both. 209 career wins. He won a Cy Young, 9-time All-Star. He is a Hall of Famer. He was great with the Dodgers throughout his career that spanned over 14 seasons. He had a 2.95 career ERA, which is respectable, and he had a 67.1 career WAR. So he put together a pretty good career with the Dodgers, and he's a 3-time World Series champion as well with the Dodgers. I left that out. So he's a winner. He had a great career, and that's who I'm going to go with for the episode today.
Matt, you gave a thumbs up when Tommy said Don Drysdale. Is that a sign of you going the same?
Yeah, it's about time after Tommy took CC Sabathia last episode rather. But it's never that fun of an episode when I'm picking a baseball player for the go of the number. That's not me, Tommy. It's you, but it's not me. It was a hard one. I couldn't really find anyone that could compete with Don Drysdale. So, of course, he's my go of the week. Tommy, you said everything so splendidly. I am so proud of you, Tommy. But that's all I got to go with. Don Drysdale agreeing everything with Tommy.
Well, yeah, I'm just going to reciprocate that. I'm definitely going Don Drysdale, and I'm very proud of Tommy. He gave me all the stats on how much talking to do. It's Don Drysdale.
There we go.
Thank you, Tommy.
Oh, you're welcome. And one other person I'd like to say is Bobby Abreu, who he played for the Phillies, the Angels, the Yankees, and he put together a good career. He's not quite at the level of Don Drysdale, but he put together a good career as well.
Was he 55 throughout or 53 throughout?
I know he wore 53 with the Yankees. That's probably
that would be interesting. That would be like that'd be cool if he wore 53 throughout his whole career with those different teams.
Yeah, he wore 53, not throughout the entire time, but for the majority. He did wear 29, 12, 23, and 33, but he wore 53 4 different times.
All right.
You're throwing out 4 other numbers here. You're like, he wore 53 majority of the time. But here's 4 other numbers that he also wore.
He sounds like Alejandro De Aza.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, he wore a lot of numbers, but he was a good player too. So.
A little disclaimer here off the record. Tommy really tried to get Alejandro De Aza as one of his go to the numbers, but the last number he wore was 45, so he ran out of time. But now is the time. Tommy, do you have any recognition for Alejandro?
Well, he's a great player. The reason that I say he's one of my favorites is because one time I was at a game and he let a ball drop in the outfield and the Yankees won because of that. So I always joke about that. But he was a good player, so
I was wondering why, where this obsession came from, because off air he talked about him all the time.
Yeah, no, he was a good player, but he helped the Yankees
finally get the backstory.
Yeah, he helped the Yankees win one day, so I was happy about that.
All right. Well, there we go. Tommy's happy. Don Drysdale's definitely a go to number 53. Mike did have a good one as well. We're going to swing it into the Drew Brees conversation. That's going to come up next.
Welcome back to Go Chat. We're back to talk a little about Drew Brees. If you guys don't know, Drew Brees broke some ribs and he had a collapsed lung against the 49ers this past weekend. Obviously, they put him on IR, so he's missing a minimum of 3 games. He could come back week 14 against the Philadelphia Eagles. But of course, you have a star quarterback. He's missing these next couple of weeks. The Saints are obviously a top team in the NFC. I want to talk about the outlook that this puts on the Saints, whether they're going to still be a top team by when Drew comes back, if Drew's going to be the same quarterback when he comes back, and what the outlook is going to look for New Orleans Saints, especially in a good division with Tom Brady there too. Connor, I'm going to throw it to you first. What do you think all about this Drew Brees situation?
Well, I wish that we could see what was going on in New Orleans practices and in the film room this past week, because all signs really seemed to be pointing towards Jameis Winston starting for the Saints. He came in the second half last week against the 49ers, really played mistake-free football. He only threw the ball 10 times, completed it 6 times, I think, for 74 yards. But it was mistake-free. It looked different than the Jameis Winston that we've seen before. So I'm interested and wondering if we're going to hear anything from Sean Payton or any New Orleans front office members about why they decided to go to Taysom Hill to man the Saints the next couple weeks. But overall, I mean, obviously we worry about Drew Brees' health. Obviously, a collapsed lung is something serious. Broken ribs is something serious. We're all about keeping the health of our players and the players of the NFL just in general. So obviously prayers out to him. Hope he gets to a speedy recovery. But I'm very interested to see the progression of what's going to be going on throughout the next coming days, the game on Sunday, and then thereafter.
Mike, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I really did think that Jameis Winston was going to step into that Drew Brees role. And I think that he could have been a little bit more dynamic than Drew Brees. As we've seen over this year and the year previous, that Drew Brees, arm strength has kind of, fallen off and he's more dinking and dunking, but he's still playing at a really high level with his decrease in ability. But I think Jameis would be able to step in and bring that ability because we know he has that huge arm. He uses that huge arm to throw the ball to the other team sometimes. So maybe that LASIK eye surgery in the offseason helped him. But I feel like Sean Payton sees something special in Taysom Hill, being that Adam Schefter reported that he's the starter. But Sean Payton came out earlier today saying that he hasn't announced a starter yet. So really conflicting reports. I'm not exactly sure what's going on there, but I really do think that Jameis should be starting for this team if they want to win as many games as possible.
Tommy, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with everything that you said, Connor and Mike. I mean, it's a tough break for the Saints, and I agree. I hope that he gets better soon and hopefully can get back on the field. But that's a serious injury, so definitely wishing him the best. And obviously, we hope that he'll be able to come back and play this year. But hope for his health as well. And yeah, I hope he comes back. And I think that the Saints will be fine. I think that they have enough depth to help carry them, but it is a tough break. Obviously, Drew Brees, future Hall of Famer, so that's tough for them, and hopefully they can, get some wins here the next few weeks when they're without him.
Yeah, of course, I have to agree with all of you guys. Even if Drew Brees was losing some arm strength, if he's, I made a joke that he only throws like 5-yard passes, 10-yard passes. But even if he does that, his completion rate is still amazing, absolutely amazing. I think he's on top of the NFL with completion percentage. So of course, losing him is going to take a dip on your team. But I was surprised when they named Taysom Hill a starter too. I was happy because fantasy, I picked him up in 4 out of 5 leagues, put him in as a tight end. He's going to get quarterback points, but yeah, it must be something about Taysom because you think about this offseason. There's a reason why they didn't sign Teddy Bridgewater and they signed Taysom Hill. There's a reason why, there's even a reason why they signed Jameis Winston too. But it is what it is. Hopefully they're gonna make the right mistake for my case, but best decision for them. So, but the Saints have been rolling too. I mean, their last loss was Packers week 3, I'm pretty sure, because they lost the Raiders week 2, maybe. So they've been on a hot streak. I trust Sean Payton. I think he's a great coach, and we're just going to have to see where they move forward. But a question I'd like to pose to you guys is, do you think the Saints are going to be on top of the NFC South? I mean, we've talked about the Buccaneers. Obviously, Saints beat them twice already, but this could hurt the Saints' chances of winning that NFC South. Connor, I'm going to start with you. What do you think about the Saints' chances in the NFC South?
Well, I do also just want to clarify. I'll answer that question in just a second, but I just kind of wanted to comment on the first question first about just the Drew Brees and everything like that. Is, and you kind of mentioned to it about why they didn't re-sign Teddy Bridgewater and they brought Taysom Hill back. Taysom Hill actually wasn't re-signed by the Saints. He was put on a franchise tag, so he got quite a bit of money for 1 year. I don't know the exact figure, but it was a franchise tag isn't cheap, especially for when it's your second or third string quarterback. So the Saints didn't want him anywhere else, which, whether that is because of the scheme that he runs with Drew Brees at quarterback or because they do see something special in him post the Drew Brees era, who knows? But the Saints wanted to hold on to him, and obviously that's for a reason. So I'm interested to see what he can do. Definitely, I think Jameis Winston could be a better quarterback for the Saints, but Taysom Hill is going to be really fun to watch. I really think that he could be something good. As far as the Saints outlook, I don't know. I don't, on record, I don't know their next couple of games. I know they're playing the Falcons on Sunday. That could be a tough game. The Falcons defense has been okay this season. It's going to be a tough game for Taysom Hill's first career start. I don't know. I think we're going to see a heavy load of Alvin Kamara. We saw it crazy in the game last week against the 49ers. If Michael Thomas is back to 100%, we're going to see a lot of those short passes. I don't know. I could see Taysom Hill and the entire offense is going to have to be different the next couple of weeks to fit Taysom Hill. There's going to be read options. There's going to be RPOs. That's just the way that the game is going to be for Taysom Hill and the Saints offense the next couple of weeks. And I think Sean Payton's a very good coach to adjust to that. I'm very interested to see. As far as the outlook, I don't know. I could see them maybe going 1-2, 2-1 throughout this Taysom Hill little mini era, potentially. It's tough to say without seeing actual Taysom Hill QB1 in action.
Just to clarify, they are playing the Falcons, Broncos, Falcons, and then Eagles, given that if Drew Brees misses the Eagles game. So, of course, I agree with you. That looks like a 1-2, 2-1, depending if what the Falcons do. Mike, I'm going to throw it to you. You've been a firm believer on the Buccaneers. Do you think that this is the prime opportunity to take the NFC South for them?
I think it could be. I really don't think that the next 3 games are going to be too detrimental to the Saints' chances at winning the NFC South. They might lose 1. I really don't see them losing 2. I mean, they're winning against the Broncos. The Broncos stink, right? And the Falcons, they're more competitive, right? But I honestly think the Saints could win both games against the Falcons if Jameis starts. If Taysom Hill starts, I don't know how much I trust him at the quarterback position, but I feel like Jameis can definitely sling it more across the field at a much higher level than Taysom Hill can. And I get it, he'll be able to run and all that stuff, but they already use packages with him where, he's running the ball. And then I feel like he's much better utilized as a gadget guy. And I feel like Sean Payton is going to, utilize his skill set to the best of Hill's ability, right? So I really don't think that this will be too detrimental to the Saints' chances of winning the NFC South. The only thing I could see derailing them, they have a Week 15 matchup against the Chiefs, I think, and I think that's pretty much a guaranteed loss. And I think that's where the Buccaneers might step in place and take the NFC South from them.
Mike, I really think you're jumping the gun a little bit on Taysom Hill. I mean, saying that he can't sling it necessarily like Jameis Winston or the firepower. I mean, he's never started an NFL game before. We don't know what he can do. Obviously, he's definitely shown flashes of what he can do throughout that role that he's played in the Saints offense before. I mean, he can run the ball well. He can throw the ball well. I think it's going to be very interesting to see. And I don't think he's going to play half bad. Obviously, he's going to have those first career start jitters, and there's going to be mistakes. There's no doubt there's going to be mistakes. I mean, we saw it just a couple of weeks ago with Tua. His first career start as a rookie, he had under 100 yards total passing, and there definitely were some mistakes. I think there could be that same thing with Taysom Hill. Obviously, the Dolphins still won that game. Saints are going to have to rely on their defense, Alvin Kamara, throughout the next couple of weeks. But I don't think the decision to have Taysom over Jameis Winston is going to be that detrimental where there's that big of a difference.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we don't really know too well how Taysom Hill throws the ball. We've seen like little flashes, and obviously he's a quarterback in the NFL. He can definitely throw the ball well. I just think that Jameis, from what we've seen, and I just don't feel comfortable with the unknown. Obviously, Sean Payton knows how well Taysom Hill can throw the ball more than I can, but I'm just saying from my knowledge of Taysom Hill's throwing ability compared to Jameis, it's not close in my mind as of right now. And he could totally prove me wrong in the next 3 games. But as of right now, I trust Jameis way more than I do Taysom Hill as a starting quarterback of an NFL team.
Well, and before we throw this to Tommy really fast, I'm sorry. I just want to mention that as far as the Bucs overtaking the NFC South, I don't know how realistic that could be because the Bucs next 3 weeks, next 3 games, so to speak, are the Rams this Monday night, which I think is going to be a good game. They then have the Chiefs. It's then their bye week. And then Minnesota, who's playing really well as of late. So those aren't 3 guaranteed wins for the Bucs where they could easily overtake the South. I think the Bucs could struggle. I say the Bucs maybe go 2-1 in that series, maybe even 1-2. I don't know. They've been very wishy-washy, so to speak. They lost to the Saints 38-3 just a couple weeks ago. So, but yet then they beat the Packers big. They've had these leaps or these highs and these lows throughout the season where when you play good opponents like that, and I mean you can even call Minnesota a good opponent because of the way they've been playing recently. I don't see it as a guaranteed clear cut. The Tampa Bay Bucs are now the favorite in the South.
Tommy, what do you think?
That would be interesting. I didn't look at like the Vegas odds or like any of the odds given after Drew Brees' injury, but that'd be interesting to look at. Tommy, I'm gonna throw it to you and then wrap up my thoughts. What do you think about this whole situation? Given the Bucs, can they overtake? I don't remember who you actually had in the beginning of the year to take the NFC South, but just give us your thoughts.
Yeah, I think originally I had the Saints, and I'm going to stick with them. I think that this could be a tough stretch for them, but I agree with you. I think that since they're playing some weaker opponents, I think they're at least going to go 2-1 is my guess. And I think it is an opportunity for the Bucs to gain some ground, but at the same time, I personally don't see it happening. But they have to win all those games, right? If they're going to win the division, but I see it as an opportunity, but I don't think it's necessarily going to go in the favor of the Bucs. I think that the Saints are going to be just fine.
Just for clarification, the odds are the Saints are minus 275 and the Bucs are plus 175 according to DraftKings.
And
Yes.
you know what? You can call me crazy, but I don't think we can necessarily count out the Atlanta Falcons out of this division yet. I know they're sitting at 3-6 right now, but now I know that they have to play the Bucs twice and they still have to play the Saints twice. But I mean, we're talking about how the Saints have their first career, or Taysom Hill starting his first career game this week against Atlanta. That could be a win for Atlanta. That puts them at 4-6. They have the Chargers, who haven't played very well. They've been in a lot of close games. Now, Matt, you're making a face at me.
No. Just think about this logically. You said they have 6 losses, right?
Correct.
So the Buccaneers would have to lose.
They would have to win out to win the division. I am saying that they're not out of this, given that they still have 2 games against the top 2 players or against the top 2 teams. I am not saying they're going to win this division, Matt and Mike. You guys can stop looking at me like I'm an idiot. But I am saying that there is still potential because Atlanta, they did get Julio Jones back a couple weeks ago. Julio Jones was very injury prone at the beginning of the season when they started their 0-4, 0-5 or whatever it was. And they're second in passing yards. Matt Ryan has played a really good year. And if they get Todd Gurley going, I'm saying there's a chance. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm saying there's a chance.
I'm just saying the chances are very slim. Obviously, there's a possibility mathematically, but you would be relying on the Saints to lose 2 additional games. Additionally to the 2 games that they would lose to the Falcons still have to play the Bucs, so the Falcons have to beat them twice, and then they would have to have the Bucs lose at least 1 more game outside of their matchup. So I mean, I get, mathematically it's possible, but there's no way that happens. There's
absolutely. I am just throwing it out there because there is still potential.
Okay, we could also say the Carolina Panthers could win the division as well.
I would say Carolina has a better chance than Atlanta at this point. I mean, Atlanta has to go. I mean, I don't want to talk about this forever, but Atlanta would have to go by Kansas City and beat them too.
That is true. Matt,
But
why don't you wrap up your thoughts?
Backtracking. Back when we were talking about Taysom Hill, I think the thing that I don't like about the Saints starting Taysom Hill is I just think of Drew Brees and Taysom Hill, and they're two different quarterbacks. Drew is not a guy to run, and Taysom Hill is he is an RPO guy. I mean, I don't study the Saints playbook by any means, but I just think that's two different quarterbacks. They're gonna have to switch up a lot. I'm surprised, and that's why I'm surprised he's going with Taysom this early. But I'm interested to see what's going to happen. I think highly of the Saints, to be honest. I think I had them winning my Super Bowl predictions at the beginning of the year. I think they'll be on top of the NFC either way. But by any means, the NFC is wide open. There's no clear cut top team, in my opinion. When you look at the AFC, you have the Steelers and the Chiefs. I think those teams are just on another level. And then the rest of the AFC division winners and wild cards. And then we look at the NFC, you got the Seahawks, who just beat the Cardinals last night. You got the Cardinals. You got the Packers, the Saints, the Buccaneers. All great teams, other than really the NFC East team that's going to make the playoffs. So that's all my thoughts about this topic. If you guys have anything else, we could move to another conversation.
Just one thing before we move on. I just thought of this right now. What if Sean Payton is using like the element of surprise? You know what I mean? Like other teams don't know what they expect out of Taysom Hill, so he's trying to like put the other team into like a state of shock. You know what I mean? To the point where they don't respond effectively and they forget their assignments and stuff like that. I think that's what Sean Payton might be going for here, just like a little like surprise. And then we'll see, who starts the rest of the games. But I think if he does go with Taysom Hill, I think that's the strategy he's trying to pursue.
And, Matt, I'm just going to reiterate your point of how wide open the NFC in general really is. I mean, we have the Packers at 7-2, Rams at 6-3, Seahawks at 7-3, Saints at 7-2, Bucks at 7-3. I mean, Cardinals at 6-4. There's all these different teams with such good records. And now that we're having seven teams in the postseason, there's been talks about potentially adding an eighth team. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think the talks are going to finalize in time. But 7 teams in the playoffs, I think it's going to be really big. I'm not even going to include the NFC East team. I ultimately think it's going to be the Giants. I think the Giants are going to win the NFC East, but that's not the point here. The NFC is just so wide open, and we have a Monday night matchup between the Rams and the Bucks, which is huge for seeding in general, the Bucks being 7-3 and the Rams 6-3. So it's definitely, there's going to be a lot of these big games coming up the stretch, and they're going to be very exciting to watch. And I'm also going to be very exciting to pick them. Just a little foreshadowing into future Go Chat episodes with our Go picks.
Yeah, definitely. In my opinion, I got the Eagles, but that's not the point. I think it's good to have these 7 teams. I liked having 7 teams because those 2 teams, it's just 2 teams get the bye week. So there's going to be they're fighting for 1 seed. So I think week 17, there's going to be more competition. We usually saw teams sitting out. And I think the 8 teams, Connor, was given that they stopped for COVID or something late in the year. I think that's what it was. I don't think they're going to try to go 8 in the future. I think
that was something. I think if they couldn't get all the games in or something along that.
Yeah, if they had an outbreak, they'd go bubble style with the NFC and AFC somehow. But any other final thoughts before we move into the next conversation that we're going to be having?
The Bears have lost 4 straight. They were 5-1 and now they're down to 5-5. That's
typical of the double
the effects of the NFC and how overpowered it is, because the Bears are a good team. Nick Foles was playing decent. Even Mitchell Trubisky was playing decent the start of the year. And they lose 4, and Nick Foles goes down on, what was that? Was that last Monday night?
It was Monday. I think with the Bears, they just don't have an offense. And they don't even have an offensive line either to help that quarterback out. So it's just when you don't have a really that good of an offense, and when that offense isn't clicking, it's really not going to get you anywhere. We saw the game. It was like a defensive game.
And the thing that surprised me with the Bears offense is that they got weapons. They got Allen Robinson, they got David Montgomery, Tariq Cohen, and Darnell Mooney. He's been rounding people up this whole year. I mean, he's one of the best route runners in the NFL already, and Nick Foles just misses him on these wide open passes down the sideline. I think they have to trade up for a quarterback in the draft if they don't get anyone through free agency, whether Dak goes to free agency or or Cam or something like that. They need something better at the quarterback position because the team around the quarterback is just too good to not try and win now. That defense is still really good. Their rookie corner, Jalen Jackson or Josh Jackson, I'm not sure what his name is, but I know he's been playing really well. So in terms of the Bears, they got to get a quarterback. That's off-season priority number one for them.
We got a feel for Allen Robinson. I mean, he's played for the Jaguars and the Bears, and his quarterbacks have been Blake Bortles, Mitchell Trubisky, and I mean, you could add Nick Foles to that list because Nick Foles hasn't had the greatest stint in Chicago thus far.
I mean, I want him to get more points on my fantasy team. I don't feel bad for him at all. He needs to start picking up the pace.
I mean, he's still been putting up good stats with these mediocre at best. Not even at best. These quarterbacks are just bad. As much as we all love Nick Foles, he just has not played well this season.
Yeah, no, but that helps me in my case. So.
I think that's going to wrap up a really good conversation. It started with the Saints. We kind of rounded it out more to the overall NFC. But I think that's going to send us right into our GOAT picks. We have 4 exciting NFL games. We will be going to that next.
Welcome back to GOAT Chat. We're finally got to the GOAT picks. It's been a long week. Tommy's exhausted. He wants to take a nap. So we got to get through this one, right, Tommy?
Yeah, but I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to win 4 games. So.
All right, the leaderboard is up. Since Seattle beat Arizona, we don't know the rest of the games are on Saturday. But Connor's got a 1-point lead on me. I got a 1-point lead on Mike. And Mike's got a 2-point lead on Tommy, I want to say. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Tommy has not hit 10 wins. We got 4 great games. And like Tommy said, he's going to go 4-0, 100% guaranteed. So we're going to go right to the first game. We got the Saints and the Falcons. We talked about the Saints. It's going to be Taysom Hill intended, given that Sean Payton plays him. It's going to be his first start. Connor, who do you have?
I think Taysom Hill is going to be interesting to watch. I think the next couple games could be Saints wins. I don't think they win this game. I'm going to take the Falcons.
Myself, I'm going to be honest. I said I was going to pick whatever Connor picked, so I'm going to do it. I'm going to go with Falcons. Mike?
Wait, why are you picking what Connor picks?
Because this game is like, I have no idea what's going to happen. Worst case scenario is I lose one with Connor or win one with Connor.
I think it's going to be New Orleans in this game. I just think the rest of the team is going to be way too good for the Falcons.
Totally goes against his point from the segment.
What do you mean?
Oh, never mind. We're not getting into this.
I never said.
We can't have another fight at the end of the episode.
Why? It's fun.
Here he is saying, I don't trust Taysom Hill. They're going to win, though. Come on, man.
I just think the Saints team is really good, and I don't think the Falcons are as good as you are touting them to be. They only beat the Broncos by 7. All of their wins have been like one possession games. Actually,
the Broncos aren't a bad team.
They destroyed the Vikings early in the season, but other than that, the Falcons have not been impressive at all this whole season.
All right. All right. Mike gave his. We're on to Tommy. Tommy, who do you have?
Yeah, the Saints are going to win this game. I don't know. Yeah, they're going to win. They're in New Orleans. I know they're without Drew Brees, but they're going to win then.
Tommy, you use where they're playing so often. There's no fans to affect the game.
I know, but hey, you get to stay at home. You don't have to go to the hotel. It's nice.
Yeah, there's some benefits to it, but the way Tommy says, like every time he picks the home team, it's funny. I'm not gonna lie, Tommy.
Thank you, Matt. All right, let's move to the next game.
All right, moving to the next one. We got the 425 game of the week. It was flexed, actually. It was supposed to be 1 o'clock, but we got the Indianapolis Colts and the visiting Green Bay Packers. Tommy, there is going to be fans here. I'm just going to tell you that, okay? So there are fans in Indianapolis, but Indianapolis has the line, I'm pretty sure. Connor, who are you going to go with?
Indy does have the line by 1.5. I think this is going to be a good game. Indy has a really good defense. Green Bay has had a really good offense all year. Ultimately, defense does win championships, but offense wins games, and I think Green Bay is going to win this game.
This is such a difficult game. I don't know if Green Bay is going to win, but I'm going to roll with them. I have to roll with them. Put my trust in Aaron Rodgers. He said he was going to win on Pat McAfee show, I'm pretty sure. So put my trust in him. Mike, who are we going to go with?
Gosh, this is such a tough matchup. I mean, the Packers continue to get gashed on the ground week after weekend. The Colts just had a really great showing on the ground against the Titans. They beat them by 17. I'm gonna go with the Colts here. I think I think it's not necessarily an upset because the Colts are favored, but I think when you think of the Packers, oh, they're so much better than the Colts. So I think it might be a little bit of an upset in that sense. So I'm going with the Colts.
Tommy, are you rolling with the home team?
I'm not gonna roll with the home team. I think that the Colts are really good, but I just think that the Packers are better and they're gonna win this one.
All right, that's good to hear, Tommy. You're not rolling with the home team. Sunday Night Football. We got the Las Vegas Raiders. I know. I grew up with the Oakland Raiders. Now we're in Las Vegas.
So did all of us.
They're playing the Kansas City Chiefs, obviously
At home, Tommy, for the Raiders.
I know, Tommy. It's home.
Where does this come from? It's the 53rd episode, and I've done it how many times, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, let's pick on this.
All right.
Oh, my goodness.
Big game. They beat Kansas City last time. Connor, can they duplicate that?
Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes are not going to let themselves be swept by a division foe. I don't see Kansas City losing this game. I don't see Kansas City losing the rest of the season. I'm going to go Chiefs.
All right. He goes, I think Atlanta's going to win the rest of the season.
No.
I think there's a chance Atlanta's going to win the rest of the season. Win out, but they play the Chiefs, and he just said, I don't think the Chiefs are going to lose the rest of the season.
You guys totally are just misinterpreting my point. It's fine, though. Give your pick.
Your point was stupid. Go ahead, Matt.
Stupid.
All right. I'm going to go with the away team. Sorry, Tommy. The Chiefs are going to
I'm going with the Chiefs as well. I think they're going to bounce back from their upsetting first loss against Las Vegas.
Tommy, you're going to go with the home team.
No, I'm going with Kansas City. They're going to win this one. They're going to improve to 9-1. And Kansas City's won 14 of their last 15 games, so I got to go with them. They're going to keep it rolling.
Final game we got, Monday Night Football. LA Rams, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tampa Bay is home, Tommy. But Connor, we're going to start with you. Tommy, you're going to be last. Connor, who do you have?
I'm going to go with the Rams. I think the pressure is on for LA. They've played pretty well throughout the season. I mean, they have played the NFC East and they won all of those games. So their record 6-3 does look good, but they did play the NFC East. I think the pressure's on with the Seahawks losing Thursday night, or with the Seahawks winning Thursday night. I think the Rams are going to have to come out here. It's a must-win game for the Rams. I think Jared Goff's going to lead them to it.
This is such a difficult game. This is another great one. I'm going to roll with the Buccaneers. I don't know. They're just hot one game, cold the next game. I just think they're going to be rolling here. It's at Raymond James Stadium. I know it was with the Saints game, but I don't know. This is such a tough game. I have no reason why. I think Mike will be able to back me up.
Yeah, I'm rolling with the home team, Tommy. So feel free to join the home team side. And they will actually have some fans in the stands. But anyways, they scored 46 points last week against the Panthers. Every facet of their offense was absolutely dominant. Tom Brady over 300 yards. Ronald Jones almost 200 yards of the ground.
And Ronald Jones did get one vote for Goat of the Week. That's impressive. One vote. I mean,
hey, that does not matter. We're talking about wins and losses.
And you lost
in the NFL standings. Okay, shut your mouth. Okay, and let me finish. Okay. Anyways, I think the Buccaneers are going to come out and show up big time. I think Tom Brady loves the pressure, while Jared Goff is going to fold under it. And I think the Bucs are going to come out and win this game.
Yeah, just the Panthers defense is like one of the worst. So I don't think that was like a really compelling argument there. But
they have a good pass defense.
But, Tom Brady played really well in the clutch against the Saints. Great game. Tommy, I'm gonna go with you.
I don't know. I'm thinking about going with the home team solely for the reason that they're at home. I'm gonna go with the Rams. I think that they're gonna win this one on the road. That's
I don't
what
think
I'm
Tommy's ever gonna pick a home team again after that.
No, I'm done. No more home teams. We go with all away teams. But
so then, do you want to switch your pick for the Falcons Saints game or the Packers Colts?
No, because those home teams are gonna win. But
wait, did Tommy pick the Colts or the Packers?
No, I picked the Packers.
Yeah, so he doesn't have to change that.
Yeah, so I'm keeping that. I got a visiting team, so
Even though they have fans, Tommy.
I'm sticking with my picks. I'm all set.
All right, guys, it's been a great number, episode 53. As always, hit the subscribe button down below. We are very close to 100, and we're also trying to get to 500 followers on Instagram. Definitely just keep smashing the follow button. Like everything, we do appreciate the views. Keep the viewership up. We all appreciate it, and we will be back on Wednesday with episode number 54.